Adrian Cole had once stood in front of Lily Hart with a coldness she never forgot. "I don't love you," he said. "I never did." And those words didn't just break her, they erased her. She walked away with nothing except the 2 tiny heartbeats growing inside her. Heartbeats Adrian never knew existed. 2 years later, on the day Adrian Cole was set to marry the woman his mother approved, fate walked straight into the crystal ballroom wearing a simple dress, holding the hands of 2 identical little boys with Adrian's same ocean blue eyes. Silence fell, gasps rippled, and for the first time in 2 years, Adrian forgot how to breathe. Because Lily Hart wasn't just the past he buried, she was standing there holding the future he never expected. And those little boys, they looked up at him and whispered a single word that shattered his world: "Daddy." Lily Hart had spent the last 2 years learning how to breathe again. Not because life had become easy, it hadn't. Not because she had forgotten Adrian Cole, she hadn't, but because she had been forced to rebuild everything from the ruins he left behind. She remembered the last day she saw him as clearly as if it were branded into her skin. She remembered the cold marble floors of Cole Enterprises, the echo of her own footsteps, and the way Adrian looked at her like she was an inconvenience, not the woman who had once held his heart. "Lily," he said, standing tall in his tailored suit, "you were a mistake. We're done." Her breath fractured, her heart tore, her entire world tilted. But what she didn't know then, what she couldn't have imagined, was that 2 weeks later she would stare at a pregnancy test with shaking hands. 2 lines, 2 heartbeats, 2 miracles. They didn't save her, but they gave her a reason to survive. Aiden and Leo were born on a stormy night in Savannah. Tiny, fierce, perfectly identical, except Aiden had a tiny birthmark on his left shoulder and Leo had a dimple he shared with Adrian. Every time she saw that dimple, her heart cracked all over again. Not because she hated Adrian, but because she knew he didn't deserve the love her sons would give him so easily. She moved into a small house, worked part-time at a floral shop, and spent her nights rocking 2 babies who had no father's name on their birth certificates. And she told herself she was doing the right thing. Adrian Cole didn't deserve to know them. Meanwhile, 800 miles away, Adrian Cole, the man who once claimed he didn't love, was drowning in a life he never wanted. On paper, everything was perfect. He was CEO. He was wealthy. He was engaged to a woman his mother adored. He lived in a penthouse above the city. But every night, when the lights dimmed and his reflection stared back at him from the glass windows, he felt the same emptiness. He told himself he didn't miss Lily, but he did. He missed the way she used to laugh, the way she softened his edges, the way she made him feel like he wasn't just a machine built to earn profits. He missed the warmth he never found. Again, he missed the version of himself he lost when he let her go. But pride is a powerful poison, and Adrian Cole had swallowed enough to last a lifetime. Back in Savannah, Lily lived 1 diaper, 1 bottle, 1 exhausted smile at a time. Aiden and Leo were 2 years old now, wild, brilliant, hilarious, and sometimes utterly impossible, but they were hers. One evening, after closing the shop, Lily received an unexpected invitation. Her old college friend was getting married near her hometown. She wanted Lily as part of the ceremony. Lily hesitated. She didn't want to risk crossing paths with the world she left behind. But the twins had never seen her old city, and a tiny foolish part of her whispered, "Maybe it's time to stop hiding." She packed small suits for Aiden and Leo. She packed her simple pale blue dress. She packed the courage she didn't know she had, and she drove back to the city she once fled. The wedding venue was a world. Lily no longer belonged to crystal chandeliers, marble floors, guests dripping in diamonds. Aiden and Leo clung to her dress, excited but overwhelmed. She knelt down, smoothing their hair. "Remember, stay close." "Okay, Mommy," they chirped. Her heart melted. She didn't know Adrian Cole was in the same building. She didn't know this was his wedding venue. She didn't know fate was guiding her straight into the storm she thought she escaped. On the other side of the ballroom, Adrian stood in a charcoal suit, expression stiff, jaw tight. His mother adjusted his tie for the 6th time. "Adrian, smile. This marriage is important." Important. Appropriate. Strategic. Everything, except right. He stared at his own reflection and felt nothing but suffocation. Then, the ballroom doors opened and his world split in 2. Lily Hart walked in, her hair soft around her shoulders, her blue dress glowing under the lights. But it wasn't Lily that shattered him. It was the 2 little boys holding her hands. 2 boys with familiar blue eyes. His eyes. Aiden spotted him first and tugged Leo's sleeve. "Look," he whispered. He looks like us. Adrian's heart stopped. His breath froze. His fiancée's voice dimmed. The room blurred, and Lily met his gaze steady. Strong, unapologetic. He tried to speak. He couldn't because the twins took one step forward, then another, and Aiden whispered the one word Adrian Cole never expected to hear. Daddy. For a moment that felt endless, the world stood absolutely still. Adrian didn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't think. It was as if every sound in the ballroom, faded music, chatter, clinking glasses leaving, only the echo of that tiny word, ringing like thunder in his skull. Daddy. His mother froze beside him. His fiancée Rachel's smile shattered into a trembling frown. Guests turned, whispering like crackling fire. But Adrian heard none of it. His eyes were locked on the two little boys, now standing only a few steps away, wide-eyed, and impossibly familiar. Leo tugged Aiden's sleeve. Is he mad? He whispered. Adrian's chest tightened so painfully he almost staggered. Mad? At them? Never. He took one slow step forward, then stopped because Lily, who was trembling but standing tall, pulled her boys gently behind her, as if shielding them. Her gaze wasn't angry, it was terrified. Terrified of him, something inside. Adrian cracked straight down the middle. Lily. His voice was barely sound. She swallowed hard, her fingers curled protectively into the twins' shoulders. Don't, she whispered. Not here. Her voice wasn't sharp, it was trembling, wounded, worn at the edges, and it hit him harder than any slap ever could. Lily, he tried again. Please. Rachel stepped forward sharply. Adrian, she hissed, gripping his arm. What is going on? He didn't pull away from Rachel, he yanked his arm free. Everyone gasped, but he didn't care. His eyes never left Lily. Are they? His voice cracked. Are Aiden and Leo mine? Lily's breath caught. Aiden and Leo blinked up at her. Confused but quiet, she didn't speak. Not yet, because she was remembering the last thing he said to her 2 years ago. You were a mistake. Those words had burned deeper than any wound. Now here he was asking for truth with a voice full of fractures. She hadn't been ready for this moment. She had rehearsed it 1,000 ways over the years. Angry, cold, defensive, silent. But now, face to face with the man who once shattered her, holding the hands of the two children who rebuilt her, her voice refused to come out. Aiden peeked around her leg. He knows our names, he whispered. Curious. Leo nodded. Maybe 'cause he's daddy. Lily's knees almost buckled. The crowd was staring, phones out, cameras flashing, whispers growing. She couldn't let this become a spectacle, so she grabbed the twins' hands and turned away. Come, we're leaving. But Adrian moved instinctively, desperately blocking her path. He didn't touch her. He didn't raise his voice, but he looked like a man watching his world slip through his fingers. Don't walk away again, he whispered. Lily flinched again. He was the one who pushed her out of his life. He was the one who erased her. She took a shaky breath. For 2 years, she whispered. You didn't once look for me. Adrian's jaw clenched. Because I thought you were better off without me. Because I thought, no, she cut in softly. Because you didn't care. That shut him up. Aiden tugged his mother's dress. Mommy, are we in trouble? Lily knelt and cupped his face gently. No, sweetheart, not at all. Adrian watched the scene with something between awe and agony. She was a good mother, a gentle mother, a strong mother. And he hadn't been there, not for a single moment. The guilt hit him like a blade. He lowered himself slowly, kneeling to the twins' level, not touching, not assuming, just kneeling. Aiden and Leo stared at him with fascination. Adrian's voice was a raw whisper. I didn't know about you. Leo blinked. We thought Daddy lived in the sky. Adrian's breath broke. Why would you think that? Lily answered quietly. Because I didn't know how to explain the truth. The pain in her voice stabbed him deeper than the words themselves. Lily, he said softly, why didn't you tell me? Her eyes filled, but she didn't let a single tear fall. You told me I was nothing, she whispered. I wasn't going to give you the chance to say that to them. Adrian felt his throat tighten. He had hurt her, more deeply than he ever understood. And she had carried that hurt alone. While carrying twins, Aiden suddenly reached forward, touching Adrian's tie. It's shiny. Leo giggled. He looks like us, Mommy. Adrian's breath shuddered. He didn't deserve this moment, but he wanted it more than air. Lily, he said quietly, I need 5 minutes. Please. She hesitated. Her heart pounded painfully. She didn't trust him. She didn't trust herself around him. She didn't trust the flood of old emotions clawing up her chest. But the twins were watching. Hopeful, innocent, unknowing. She Couldn't scar them with a public scene, so she nodded once. 5 minutes. Outside. Adrian exhaled shakily. Rachel stepped forward, angrily. Adrian, this wedding, he didn't even turn to her. Call it off. Her jaw dropped. His mother gasped. Guests whispered in shock. But Adrian didn't care. For the first time in years, he was choosing something for himself. Lily didn't wait for the drama. She took the twins outside into the quiet garden area behind the venue. The moment the door closed, she leaned against the wall and closed her eyes, heart pounding. Aiden tugged her hand. Mommy, is Daddy mad at us? Lily pulled him close. No, baby, never. Leo hugged her leg, confused. Then why was everyone staring? She knelt, pulling both boys into her arms. Because they didn't expect us to be here, she whispered. Aiden glanced at the door. Will Daddy come? Her throat tightened. She didn't know the answer. But a moment later, the door opened softly. Adrian stepped out. No security, no fiancé, no mother, just him. Just a man, shaking slightly, eyes glassy, heart wide open. He looked at Lily, then at the twins, then back at Lily, and he said the 7 words she never expected to hear. Can I please meet my sons properly? Rain slid down the hospital windows like silent tears when Adrian Cole walked back into the pediatric ward, holding 2 cups of coffee, one for himself, one for Lily Hart. He paused at the doorway. Lily sat beside Leo's bed, gently stroking his small hand. Her eyes were red from exhaustion. Aiden slept curled against her side, his tiny palm gripping her dress like he was afraid she'd disappear. For the first time in years, something sharp tugged in Adrian's chest. This was what he had walked away from. This was what he had lost. He approached slowly. Lily looked up, surprise flickering across her face. You came back, she whispered. Adrian nodded, extending the coffee. I figured you needed it. She hesitated, hurt, distrust, memories colliding behind her eyes, but finally accepted it. Thanks, she murmured softly. Adrian pulled a chair toward her. The doctor, what did he say? Lily exhaled shakily. Leo ka immune system, boat weak haga. Stress, lack of rest. Or Shiad, Mary Waja say. I'm trying, Adrian, but sometimes, I feel like I'm breaking. Her voice cracked. Adrian felt something inside him crumble. He sat down slowly, voice rough. You're not alone today. At least tonight, let me stay. Lily froze. Why? She asked quietly. You left us when we needed you most. Why now? Adrian met her eyes honestly. Because today I saw our sons struggle to breathe, he whispered, and it reminded me what matters, and what doesn't. Lily didn't respond, but her eyes softened painfully. A small sound came from her lap. Aiden blinked awake. Mama. Then his gaze drifted to Adrian. A beat, a tiny pause. Then you came back, he whispered, voice sleepy. Adrian's chest tightened. Yes, he said quietly, brushing Aiden's hair. I came back. Aiden smiled, rested his cheek against Lily again, and fell back asleep. Lily looked away, hiding the tremble in her breath. The long AIGHT hours passed. Machines beeped softly. The lights dimmed. The world outside turned completely dark. Lily rubbed her temples. She looked exhausted, bone-deep tired. Adrian watched her, guilt twisting in him. If you want to sleep for a bit, Adrian said gently, I'm right here. I won't go. She stared at him long, cautious, searching. You won't disappear. His jaw clenched with shame. No, he whispered, never again. Lily didn't trust his words. How could she? But exhaustion won. Just she finally leaned back, eyes closing. Adrian slowly stood and walked to Leo's bed. He adjusted the blanket around his little feet, then placed his hand gently on Leo's arm. Hey, little guy, Adrian whispered. I'm sorry I wasn't here. I'm sorry you had to be strong alone. Leo didn't wake, but his small fingers curled lightly around Adrian's thumb. Adrian's eyes burned. He stayed there for hours, head resting beside his son's bed, hand holding a tiny hand that once called him daddy. Morning changes, EVR white Achayanji sunlight filtered into the ward. Lily stirred first, stretching sorely. Her gaze landed on Adrian still seated beside Leo, head tilted, fast asleep. Their son's tiny hand still in his. She froze. This wasn't the cold CEO she remembered. This wasn't the man who walked away. This was someone trying. Aiden woke next. Mama, why is Uncle Adrian sleeping like that? He whispered. Despite everything, Lily laughed quietly. I think he was protecting Leo. Aiden tiptoed to Adrian and gently shook his shoulder. Wake up. Adrian jolted awake, hair messy, eyes bleary. Aiden giggled. You sleep funny. Adrian tried to look serious. I was supervising the floor, making sure it behaves. Aiden burst out laughing. Lily covered her smile with her hand, but her eyes shone with something she hadn't felt in years. Hope, fear, both. Just then, the nurse entered. Good news, she said. Leo is responding to treatment. He's stable now. Lily's knees almost buckled in relief. Adrian covered his face for a moment, breathing out all the fear he carried silently. When the nurse left, Lily spoke. Adrian, I didn't ask for your help because I forgot how to depend on you. I know, he said quietly, and I don't blame you. But Aiden and Leo, she whispered, they still look for you in every crowd. That sentence stabbed straight into him. He swallowed hard. Lily, I failed you all, but I'm here now, not out of guilt, out of choice. Lily looked at him with trembling eyes. Promises hurt, Adrian, she whispered, and I can't let my boys break again. Adrian leaned closer, voice low, sincere. Don't trust my words, he said. Trust what I do from this moment on. Silence settled between them, heavy, emotional, honest. For the first time, it wasn't anger, it wasn't resentment, it was something quieter, something rebuilding itself inside the cracks. And then, Leo's eyes fluttered open. Mama! Lily rushed to him, tears streaming. Baby, how do you feel? Leo's gaze shifted to Adrian. You came, he whispered weakly. Adrian's voice broke. I never should have left. Leo reached toward him. Adrian held him instantly. Lily saw it, and something inside her cracked open. Maybe forgiveness wasn't impossible. Maybe family wasn't broken forever. Maybe fate had brought Adrian back for a reason. The part closed with all four of them sitting close, not healed, not perfect, but together, for the first time in 3 years. The hospital garden smelled faintly of wet earth and blooming lilies when Adrian and Lily finally stepped outside. Aiden skipped ahead, pulling a small wagon filled with toy cars, while Leo clung to Adrian's hand, hesitant but curious. The morning sunlight touched everything with gentle gold, and for the first time in years, Adrian allowed himself to breathe without guilt constricting his chest. He glanced at Lily. Her hair was messy, cheeks flushed, and eyes tired, but she radiated a quiet strength he hadn't seen in a long time. I never thought I'd see him like this. Lily muttered softly, more to herself than to him. Adrian looked down at Leo, who gazed up with wide, trusting eyes. I never want you to see me as someone who walks away again, Adrian said, voice low, earnest. I'm not leaving, not now, not ever. Leo's small fingers tightened around his, and Aiden giggled from the wagon. Come on, Daddy, race you to the fountain, Aiden shouted, legs pumping, excitement spilling from him. Adrian looked at Lily for permission. She hesitated, then nodded slowly. Go, she whispered. Voice soft but firm. Adrian sprinted after Aiden, Leo trailing behind. The laughter of the children echoed through the hospital courtyard, mixing with the soft hum of the morning breeze. Lily couldn't help but watch, something tender unfurling inside her. The man she had once loved, the one who had hurt her so deeply, was showing up not as a polished stranger, but as the father her children deserved. Rebuilding trust over the next weeks, Adrian settled into their lives in ways he hadn't imagined possible. He was there for early morning breakfasts, helped get Aiden ready for kindergarten, and read bedtime stories to Leo with exaggerated voices and funny faces that had both boys rolling with laughter. One evening, after tucking both children into bed, Adrian and Lily found themselves on the porch. The garden bathed in silver moonlight. Silence stretched between them, neither daring to fill it with something that might break the fragile rhythm they were forming. I'm scared, Lily admitted finally, voice breaking. I'm scared to let you in, scared to trust you again, and scared you'll hurt us. Adrian reached out slowly, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. I know, he said softly. I don't expect forgiveness overnight. I just want to be here, always. Her eyes searched his face, trying to discern if this was the same man who had abandoned her or someone new. Someone who had learned the cost of selfish choices. Actions, she whispered, not words. That's what matters. Adrian nodded, a small smile tugging at his lips. Then I'll show you, every day, whatever it takes. The sincerity in his voice wasn't polished or rehearsed, it was raw, honest, and somehow enough to make her chest ache with longing and relief all at once. A family reunion a month later, Adrian and Lily decided to host a small picnic at the lakeside park. The weather was perfect, golden sunlight reflecting on rippling water. Aiden and Leo ran ahead, their laughter filling the air as Adrian and Lily followed slowly. Lily carried a basket, and Adrian had brought blankets and a frisbee. They settled under an oak tree, the boys immediately claiming the area around them to play. Adrian knelt beside them, tossing a frisbee carefully, teaching them to throw it without hitting each other. "You're really good at this, Daddy," Aiden cheered, running to retrieve it. "Thanks, buddy. Just like you'll be good at anything you try," Adrian said, pride clear in his voice. Lily watched from a distance, heart swelling. She had spent years imagining this moment, yet nothing could have prepared her for the quiet beauty of it, the simplicity, the laughter, the realness of a man who had finally chosen his family. When the boys tired, they all sat on the blanket, sharing sandwiches and juice. Adrian picked up Leo, rocking him gently as he munched on a cookie. "You know," Adrian said, looking at Lily with a shy smile, "I missed so much. I don't want to miss another single day." Lily's gaze softened, a reluctant smile tugging at her lips. "Then prove it," she said softly. Adrian took a deep breath, reaching across the blanket to take her hand. "Every day," he promised. The SHIFT days turned into weeks, and slowly, a rhythm emerged. Adrian became a constant, present in the small, mundane details of their lives. He learned Aiden's favorite bedtime story, The Brave Little Lion, discovered Leo's love for purple dinosaur stickers, and even started cooking breakfast every Saturday, burning pancakes only occasionally. One rainy evening, a thunderstorm rumbled through Savannah. Leo hid under the blanket, trembling, while Aiden clung to his mother. Adrian knelt beside them, speaking softly, recounting a story about a brave little knight who faced storms and won by the time the storm passed. Both boys were giggling, crawling into Adrian's lap for warmth. Lily watched quietly from the doorway, heart full. This was the man she remembered, and the one she feared would never return. But here he was, quietly claiming his place, showing love not through grand gestures, but through presence, care, and consistency. A fragile Miss one evening, after the children were asleep, Adrian and Lily sat on the porch swing, rain tapping lightly against the roof. The air smelled of wet earth and beginnings. "I don't want to rush anything," Lily whispered, voice low, almost afraid. "I don't want to rush," Adrian agreed, voice cracking slightly. "I just want us, them, one day at a time." Lily looked at him, tears brimming. "It's terrifying, but I want to try." Adrian leaned closer, gently brushing her hand against his. "Then we'll take it slow. I'll never push. I'll never demand. I'll just be her always." The night wrapped around them like a soft blanket, and for the first time, Lily allowed herself to imagine a future not haunted by abandonment, but shaped by presence, love, and a family that was finally whole. The new BGINNEAG weeks later, the four of them sat at the lake again, a picnic blanket spread, laughter echoing across the water. Aiden built a sandcastle with Adrian's help, while Leo chased dragonflies. Giggling uncontrollably, Lily watched them, heart overflowing. She caught Adrian's gaze and smiled. "You're different," she said softly. "I've had to be," he replied. "I lost the best thing I ever had, and I won't lose it again." Their fingers brushed briefly, an unspoken promise passing between them. "Let's keep building," Lily whispered. "One day at a time," Adrian said, and for the first time in years, they all felt it, the warmth of family, the hope of a future earned slowly, carefully, and beautifully. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't magic, it was real, and it was theirs. Together. Ending hook CTA 150 WORDS. Life hadn't been easy. Lily had faced heartbreak, sleepless nights, and endless fear for her children's well-being. Adrian had walked away, lost in ambition and fear, leaving behind a family he didn't even know existed. But sometimes, fate gives second chances to those brave enough to endure. Aiden and Leo had finally met the father they deserved. Lily had finally found a partner she could trust again. And Adrian, he had finally discovered what truly mattered. Every laugh shared, every bedtime story read, every small act of love became the foundation of a family reborn. They had no guarantees, no promises of perfection, only each other, each moment, and the courage to try again. If you loved Adrian, Lily, Aiden, and Leo's journey, don't forget to share their story, comment your favorite moment, and subscribe for more heart-stirring tales where love, hope, and second chances always win.